everyone to EastEnders Weekly, your weekly podcast where we discuss everything going on. Where? Not Coronation Street.
No, not Brookside Close.
God, I've never seen an episode of
That's
Brookside.
a reference and a half.
No, we talk about EastEnders, Albert Square, and all the goings on this week.
We're officially unofficial.
We are BBC.
Yeah, don't tell us off.
No,
not just
and
yet.
You are Alex.
Oh yes, I am.
You are, and I am the host, Ben. In case you can't tell us apart. Some people might not be able to. So, lots going on this week. I'm heartbroken and devastated and in mourning.
Well,
I'm wearing all grey.
Yeah.
I have a grey veil.
I'm wearing a grey armband in memoriam of a character that could have been.
Could have been an Arthur. He could have had a bench at one point saying, Grey love this place. But no. But we'll talk about that a bit later, the revelations about it. But there's lots of new storylines starting this week, which is nice and interesting.
Yeah, and they've kind of gone away from the summer not much happening stories, and they seem to be piling lots on.
For summer, it's quite busy.
Really busy
good.
Summer. Really fun.
Like. So just imagine what the busy season's going to be like.
Well, I mean, we're
going to be doing 2 podcasts a week, I think, to cover.
We're just going to have to. We're just going to have to bring back the extra episode. I mean, we know that at the end of August, with the story we're going to talk about first, that there's going to be a big beginning of the kind of Ballum story.
I know we've got a date, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got the date for the wedding.
I mean, the episodes that we're talking about are the ones that are broadcast on the BBC between the 8th and the 12th of July. And like you said, we are starting with the Ballum or Wallum story. Wallum this week more.
Or Salem, because Stuart got involved.
He did. Salem.
You could put Stuart and Whitney together and make Shitney. But
no.
Better not.
No. She's got weddings to plan. But yeah, I got a date for the wedding, which I enjoy.
Yes, 31st of August.
Yeah, marked it in my calendar.
You have? You've bought a hat as well.
I have, from Cindy's... No, not Cindy's. Shrimpy's stall.
Oh, yes.
Passed down from Cindy's mum and dad, I assume.
I expect Shrimpy bought the stock cheap because Cindy's just done a going out of business sale, hasn't she, recently?
We're talking about 89 again.
We are. We always jump into classic right at the beginning.
But yeah, I mean, not loads going on. We last saw the Pride episode, obviously, where Ben was beaten to near death. Obviously not as near death as we thought, because he was just having breakfast around cafes. I
mean, we did a couple of bruises on his face.
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing the kind of holding his chest.
Yeah, maybe they're not. No, you can't see them, I guess. Maybe they're those type of bruises.
He had a few cuts on his face, though. I mean, Stuart wanted the world to know that Ben had done something a bit naughty. And a really nasty thing said by Ian, that he probably deserved it for being too proud. It's like, really, Ian? You're saying that in 2019?
Yeah. When he said that, I did look at you and say, oh my God, we know who that is. Pete Bill Sr.
Pete Bill's back. I mean, they're right to write him like Pete Bill. Because...
And even Kathy rolled her eyes and said, Ian.
Yeah. If I could divorce you, I would.
Yeah, again.
Yeah.
If I could die again, I would.
Yeah.
But
we all died a little inside, though.
He's still sticking with his man, though, because he's not letting anyone know it was Stuart that did it.
He isn't, but he did say that to Callum, after Callum thanked him for not, revealing that Stuart had done it as a bit of a hate crime toward Callum, him being together with Callum, that he's not worth the hassle anymore. So he's scrubbed his hands with Callum now. He's not going to continue the pursuit.
Believe it.
Well, I mean, I think now it's going to be, because Ben was chasing Callum, I think there's going to be more of the chase now from Callum to Ben.
Yeah, he's had a taste of Mitchell.
He really has.
He wants the full platter.
Oof, yeah, he wants the full buffet.
And also, who wouldn't want Kathy as your mother-in-law? I want Kathy as my mother-in-law.
It's the one thing that disappoints me about you, to be perfectly honest, that you don't have a Kathy as a mum.
I know, same.
Oh, wow. How dare you? My mum probably thinks she is Kathy, to be fair.
True.
She's a bit mad.
We also had Whitney obviously trying to not pressurise. Whitney does do this, though. I wanted to say pressurise, but it's not pressurised. But she gets engaged and she really wants to get that wedding done, everything paid for, but and sorted. And Callum's a bit like,
maybe we're rushing things a little bit too much.
Maybe just be us. He wanted no one there, did he? And guests, and she wants all this big stuff, which she did to Lee.
Exactly. She wants to keep it small. I think in her mind she thinks if it's small it'd be less money, but she's going for all the cancellations, so she's probably paying a premium to get in, on a waiting list. And so that's why she's able to fit it in so quickly. And Callum, I agree with Callum. It's calm down. We don't need to do this as quickly as you're wanting us to. And plus, where is this?
Plus, I love Ben.
Well, yes. Plus, you're not the one I truly love. Whitney is a bit downhearted. So she goes for a bit of advice from Chantelle.
Oh yeah, of course, yes.
It makes me a bit sad thinking about Chantelle.
I know. No, I'm not talking about it.
No.
This week.
And Chantelle kind of drops a few hints, not only of what's about to come this week on EastEnders, but she basically, Whitney's a bit worried that maybe Callum is a bit like his dad, and he's
a bit dismissive, isn't he?
Dismissive, and when she tries to touch him, he shakes her off. That's because he might be a bit violent, and not that because he likes men. One of those things. And Chantelle kind of steps her down a little bit and says, "No. I'm sure not everyone's like their father. Look at me, I'm not like Mitch. Particularly, I'm more kind-hearted.
She's not like Karen either."
And although Karen's not her dad.
No, but Karen's not her. But yeah, there's like that bit of advice, and obviously the things that Chantelle says, now we know what's going on. They were kind of blatantly obvious, but it obviously plants a seed in Whitney's head, and she thinks, I need to think a bit more about the dad. So she goes to ask Stuart some advice. Yes, she does. Well, Stuart visits Whitney while she's working on her stall. Still couldn't see the stall. No, where is it?
Where it is.
She needs to get that stock sorted.
I know. You can't just stand in front of air. I mean, what's she selling? Is she selling the air of Wolford? I mean, they're quite popular in Japan. You buy bottles of air in Japan.
Celebrity air. But she's looking at wedding dresses, and there's a specific one she wants. She could make her own.
But no one will know she's wearing it.
Oh, she'd be naked.
It'd be naked. It'd be like the Emperor's new clothes. Everyone will be saying, "Oh, how beautiful, Whitney," but behind her back they'll be saying, "What? She's not wearing anything."
So we're led on to the redemption-ish of what Stuart wants everyone to see him as a bit of a nicer guy now. So he sort of gets an idea in his head that maybe I can get this wedding dress for you, Whitney. And she asks him about their dad. Yes. And we've now sort of got it confirmed because she was worried that Callum was maybe beaten as a child, but we kind of know that Stuart always used to step in for him.
Yes, so Stuart defended him. I mean, this week Stuart also says to Callum that why is Callum not happy because Stuart's got rid of Jono, sorted out Ben, and surely you should be forgiving me and thankful. So again, I think Stuart's trying to get himself into Callum and Whitney's life because he then does something quite kind for Whitney when Kitney? My goodness, another one. When Whitney shows him the wedding dress that she quite likes, Stuart goes out and finds one similar. I mean, he doesn't say in what means he gets it.
No, exactly. And that's like
throws a brick through the window or something. Yeah.
So yeah, he turns up with a wedding dress, which isn't quite the same, but it's similar.
But similar enough that Whitney's, quite pleased and overwhelmed. And
Stuart says, worried.
Well, yes, quietly so. And Whitney is told by Stuart in no uncertain terms that I want to prove that I'm better than my own dad. So again, I think Stuart's got this issue that he's like his dad too, especially after he's just beaten Ben up, which is probably something we said last week, which is something very similar to what Jono would have done.
Yeah, it's very messed up, isn't he? Stuart is tricky to be on his team.
Yeah, I mean, Stuart, to his defence, is always trying to do what he believes is the right thing to do.
But the wrong way.
But he does it the wrong way. Yeah, he goes the wrong way about it. And, later on when we're talking about another story, I think, again, when he's helping out Rainie, I think he thinks he's doing the right thing by calming and talking people down in the other cafe, Joe's cafe. But, again, doesn't quite get it right. So I feel for Stuart, actually, because I think Stuart is trying, but he's always got that trigger that he just can't stop.
Something in him. Like the way he treated him when he was young and things. It's obviously just embedded into him.
Yeah, I mean...
fathers have a lot to answer for this week on the show.
They really do. A lot of the men have a lot to answer for this week.
Yes, they do. Right, so we're moving on to the Adam storyline. The second of Bad Men on Wolford.
Yes, but we're starting with Adam.
Yes.
We'll come to the surprise bad man later.
I told you, I'm not talking about
it. It's really hit you hard, this story.
It has.
I'm going to talk about it later.
Hit me hard in the wrong ways.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, it's a bit overkill, is it? Two of these manipulating men on the square. Adam's more psychological, I suppose, with Honey.
I don't know. Well, I don't know, because having watched the Friday episode, I mean...
What makes Adam look like a good guy?
I think Adam is coming out in a bed of roses, quite honestly. He's really looking much better now, much less. I think he's just a bit of a dirty old man compared to...
sleazeball.
Yeah, compared to... Well, again, we can't talk just now, but let's suffice to say...
We're talking about Adam, the other horrible one.
Yeah.
And Honey's sort of CCTV investigation, which...
Yeah.
I didn't really think that story was going to go anywhere, but it led to a surprise.
Well, it felt like it was meant to be a comedy scene. She lost her keys in the minute march. She's never been able to use the new CCTV system since they updated it after the fish finger incident. So, I think we were led down the path of, oh, here we go, we're going to have a funny honey story where Billy kind of admits that he still loves her. And
they even teased us with her nearly opening the door with them on the other side, and you were thinking, oh, she's going to do it but then not see them. But then
Billy was the one who stopped her from going in. I know. If Billy didn't open his claptrap, she would have found out for herself, and then we'd be going through all this business right now.
Honey's bed sheets are getting quite the use this week.
They are. Honey spent a lot of time choosing the bed sheets, and
Habiba's been in them more, I think, than Honey.
I think they've been soiled by Habiba. Let's just say that much. I mean, he must, he tidies it up really quickly. There's no evidence, and so as you said, the only way she found out was by the CCTV footage when Adam was, kind of sexually moving the hair out of Habiba's face, and Honey said to him when she comes out to him later and asks him outright, have you been seeing Habiba?
Because she goes, because that's what you do to my hair.
Yeah, so it must be love. Because you love me, Adam.
I mean, we had quite a big, intense scene before the CCTV with Billy and Honey. Sort of, it was almost like it was coming up because obviously Honey is now doubting Adam, but it was kind of like a summing up of them both accepting in a way that Honey and Billy are over.
Yeah.
And Billy kind of suddenly accepting that, but breaking down, but being like, okay, yeah. When he left that room, he was kind of like,
there's nothing more he can really do.
We are over, I guess, which obviously.
Well, Honey
came at the worst time.
Honey wants to ask him to marry her, doesn't she? She wants to do it
modern.
Modern, 21st century, and her horoscope says so because Tina read it to her. She wants to, she's channeling her inner shark. And I mean, Honey is really showing more confidence with Adam. Adam has built her up, but
he still knocks her down. Like he builds her up like two steps. Let's use steps. 2 steps, but always knocks her down at 1 and a half.
I mean, they've kind of stopped doing the Adam now patronising her by, correcting on her grammar and the way she says things, how she gets things wrong, and kind of just generally laughing at her. They've stopped that now for the more in favour that, like I say, he's more of a dirty man who's kind of getting away with having this affair.
Yeah, cake and eating it.
Yeah, and he now can say anything to Honey, and she'll kind of accept it. She'll kind of lay on her back and have her belly rubbed. She's happy with that.
Sorry, are you getting Honey and Habiba confused now?
I'm just having an analogy a moment, it just pops into my head.
But Habiba was also having that like date thing at the beginning of the week where I feel like I've seen that scene about 1,000 times on EastEnders. They've done it so. Even they did it with Masood with Miriam Ashad last year, trying to set them up on a date with someone, arranged marriage. Both the parents are a bit like judgy. And they go on the date, and then they both realise they don't want to be. It's like we've seen it so many times.
Yeah, she goes on a date with Salim, and Salim says, "Oh, I'm already seeing a girl. She's married already as well." And let's just agree to disagree. Let's just agree not to, stay together. And as you say, the parents are all both kind of a bit snobbish that they both think they're better than one another.
So we've seen this too many times now. I don't want to see it.
It was padding, wasn't it? Just to kind of make this story...
It made Adam jealous, kind of, didn't it?
Yeah, to make the story stretch out for the week, where it could have quite easily been a 2-day story, I think.
They could have been in the alleyway without that leading up to it, I think.
Yeah, I think you could have just seen her on a date. You wouldn't even have to really introduce the character that she was on the date with, necessarily. Because she did look at Adam when they're on this date and made sure that he did get a good look.
Wouldn't it be funny if Karen popped her head around and caught them like she caught Shianu in that alleyway?
Yeah, that alleyway has a lot to answer.
It does, a lot. And then we sort of had Honey kind of get some balls and ask him outright over dinner. But the next thing we know, they're in bed together. So
it's another one of those weird shifts that seems to be happening at the moment in EastEnders. Like it leads on to a cliffhanger, which you think, oh, there's no escape for Adam now, and then the next day it's
but they don't show
360.
You the confrontation.
No,
they sort of fill it in later.
Yeah, it's explained off later. I mean, this didn't come without any kind of repercussions for Honey, because Honey now feels quite jealous of Habiba. That she, I think Honey inside knows that, Adam at least has feelings for her. Perhaps they maybe not gone that step where they're having sex in Honey's bedsheets, but, perhaps there are feelings there. And so Honey tries her best to kind of make herself look better and do herself up a little bit and ask for a little bit of help from Kush.
Yes, from his amazing stool.
Yeah.
And she's there looking through her old model photos of her on the swing and stuff.
Oh, yeah, that was an
Same
amazing
haircut.
face.
She might need a new haircut, I think. Maybe that's her problem.
I did like that stunned face she had when she's on the swing. Like some man just took her photograph out of the bushes without her knowing.
But yeah, she's trying to look model-like and young, and what Habiba is, I guess. That's how he described her, didn't he?
Well, yeah, Adam said
To
that
her.
Habiba gets away with it because she's much younger, and I think that hit Honey hard. And so
She's
Honey,
a model.
and also when Honey did put in this big effort for Adam to notice her, he didn't. He didn't notice her.
He kind of like rolled his eyes half.
Well, he said you
didn't
don't.
really notice.
Yeah, you don't really need to do that. You know, it doesn't really suit you, Honey.
I didn't like the dress though, personally.
Well, it's from Kush's store, isn't it? It's flammable.
Yeah, highly flammable, especially with slow motion cameras
Absolutely.
nearby.
Don't light a candle nearby. Don't go to any birthday parties wearing any of Kush's clothing.
Poor Honey, she's kind of got doubt in her mind about her fading looks, I guess. She sort of thought her cheeks was a bit sagging.
Well, see, this is it, you see. When at the
Put
end
some tape on it.
Yeah, we'll do a quick tuck.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it. I think that the way she was looking at herself in the mirror, I think that's where maybe the story's heading. Maybe she's thinking about
like a
bit of
not body
surgery,
dysmorphia, but like a
some kind of surgery, some kind of
eating disorder. We don't have one of them.
Well, no. I think she'll like I say, a surgery that she's going to want to go to the extreme of doing something to her to try to keep Adam, to try to impress Adam. So she's now going out of her way to do it.
Maybe. You know who she got to call? Kathy.
Wait, yes.
She's got the potion for eternal youth.
Kathy, she needs to find that fountain of eternal youth.
She looks younger than Habiba. That's what she needs to call. Who's your surgeon?
Well, Kathy, I mean...
Not surgeon.
No. I was going to say, don't start throwing out allegations toward the actress.
Actually, Gillian Tailforth did a video. I watched it on YouTube the other day. She actually did a video saying of her silhouette facelift.
Oh, so
she's admitted it.
Out and out.
It was quite old. It was like 10 years ago, but it was worth the watch.
Oh, I think she's had a top up since then. I don't want to sound horrible. She looks great for it.
Oh yeah,
I'm putting no shade her way.
Surgery. I'm pro.
Oh, absolutely.
Surgery.
If it makes you happy, do it. But don't do it for someone else, which is what Honey's doing it for.
You end up looking younger than your son. Do it.
But yes, as I say, I think that Honey's doing it for the wrong reasons, where Kathy's doing it for her own...
For herself.
For herself, yeah. She doesn't care if she gets a man or not. If she gets another, bow on her arm.
Another business.
Yeah, another gay bar opening up in Walford. But Honey's doing it purely just to keep Adam, and that's a dangerous game to play because now, where do you stop? Where would Honey stop with trying to impress Adam?
So what do you think her future storyline's going to be? She's going to be some...
Well, no, I don't think they're going to...
Or some sort of worry of age or looks or body.
I think she's going to find a cheap Botox surgery or something along those lines, yeah, and then something will go wrong, and then Billy will come to the rescue, and Billy will say, but Billy will say, because Billy said this 100 times already, so it's natural for him to say it. You don't need to change anything, honey. You're perfect the way you are. While Adam...
He had a hair transplant, Billy.
Oh, stop shaming people with these plastic surgeries.
They all do it. They all say they're doing it.
The character doesn't do it.
Oh, right.
Yes. We're talking about EastEnders, not what the actors do in their spare time. They don't have hair popped into their head in Walford. So, yeah, and I think Billy will comfort Honey and realise that Honey will then come to the realisation that she's doing this all for Adam.
What about their big chat where they had their 10-minute scene together and they moved on? Do you think he'll come
Billy
back
didn't
then?
move on, though. Billy just accepted it at the time. But knowing that... Because he does say to Honey that you can't trust him. He repeats to her, you can't trust him. And Honey's like, no, I know it's right. I know it's the right thing to do. But now that seed's been planted since she's seen the CCTV footage. So,
we'll have to see. Only time can tell. Only the time of age can show us what will go forward.
Unless you're Kathy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So next up, we have a bit of a different feature. So another original, because we keep bringing out original features for everyone.
I mean, we have done it before as a standalone episode, but not as a feature.
No.
So there's a little clue for you all.
Yes, very explicit. Well, no, it's been beeped out, but if you want to skip past it because it's raunchy, you can. But if you want to put it on repeat because it's raunchy, I also suggest doing that too.
I strongly suggest people give it a go. And if they get...
That's the theme of the section.
Just give it a go.
So we are back with the long-awaited return of us reading out EastEnders fan fiction.
Rubbing my hands together with excitement.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling all warm inside and gooey.
So's the person on this fan fiction.
Oh no.
So obviously fan fiction, everyone needs to be aware. There may be sexual themes. What do they say on the TV?
Yes, sexual themes or
violence.
or scenarios
graphic
scenarios
Yes.
you might find uncomfortable to listen to.
So skip past this part if you want to, if you're not into that sort of stuff. But if you are into that sort of stuff, I have found a fan fiction.
And if you're not sure if you're into that kind of stuff, go back to our EastEnders Weekly Extra and listen to the fan fiction there.
There's one about Whitney and Abby, and it's hilarious.
And Mick and Linda.
Oh, that's disgusting.
They do all kinds of stuff over the bar.
Yeah, it's how Ollie was conceived, that one is.
God, don't remind me.
Right, so any guesses on the fan fiction that I have chosen, what the topic is about? Do you want me to give you the name and you can try and work out who it's about?
Yeah, go on, but I've got a pretty good idea.
Right, so it's called, this is the full title, and it's by Dingle Tragedy. So she's obviously a fan of Emmerdale.
Another Emmerdale fan. We seem to attract
Because
them.
of the Robin and the other guy, Aren, a lot of those fans have bumped onto
Oh, a story that you've decided to pick up on. I think I know for definite then.
So it's called We've Got One Thing in Common, brackets, it's this tongue of mine.
It's Ben and Callum, isn't it? flying the rainbow flag for us all.
It is. So the summary is quite short and simple. Ben and Callum in a hotel room.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Want you, Callum starts, eyes sincere as they gaze straight into Ben's. They've only been in the hotel room a mere minutes, but Callum just can't help himself. We've got 2 days, Callum. 2 whole days, Ben states.
How did they get 2 days off?
Like Shrimpy.
Shrimpy's at the funeral parlour.
Do you think it's the same hotel that Sharon and Wixie went to? I think it will
the fancy country one. Oh, I think so.
I think Sharon said, Ben, take Callum here.
Yeah, this is where I hid under the covers when I didn't want to have sex with Wixie.
Ben states, surely you're not that desperate cow. Cow?
Oh, I don't like that. Sure,
No.
no. Keep it Callum. It's a nice name, Callum. It's rounded.
It's been weeks, Ben. So yeah, I'm desperate.
Is Whitney not putting out, is she? Oh dear.
So, just come here. And who was Ben to deny him any further? No, there's going to be some bleeping along this lines, okay?
Okay.
You're in charge of that, because I'm not. So,
that's fine. So,
you can use your own imagination.
Yes, perfect.
Callum ducks down to Ben's height and connects their lips as Ben works open the last button of Callum's shirt.
The last button.
Sliding the flimsy fabric of his shoulders as their tongues meet one another.
The flimsy fabric of his shoulders. So
Off his shoulders.
Off
his shoulders.
Off. So you mean off his shoulders, not his shoulders are made of flimsy fabric.
No, they describe I'll let you listen. Actually.
Oh, I'll look forward to
it. Callum's tummy description. Ooh. So he lets his hands move down Callum's now bare chest, fingers flicking over his nipples, running the buds between his thumb and pointer finger.
Pointer finger. Lovely.
The buds of his nipple, I'm assuming.
But I'm presuming the actual nipple
is the bud.
What is the nipple? Is it the whole thing the nipple? Or is it just the bit that pokes out?
Well, there's a nipple and there's the bud apparently.
Yes, of course. I'm sorry. I've had it described to me.
So Callum moans against it, but right now he just wants to get Ben naked. When he moans into Callum's mouth.
Wow.
And bites into his lower lip slightly. Callum lets his hands travel down to the button of Ben's jeans. Been here before at the park. This isn't new.
Recreation of the PG.
Call him impatient. But he works them open quite quickly, pulling down the zipper and the jeans to the best of his ability.
Not just the zipper, the jeans as well.
He pulls back from their kiss, releasing Ben's lips with a loud smack.
Ooh.
They're quite intensely
We must be
entwined.
sucking. Yeah, he must be sucking the mouth a little bit, the lips, to cause a smack sound.
I'll get ready to bleep some of this.
Okay.
Wanna suck you off? Ben murmurs, attaching his lips to Callum's throat, beginning to leave a suck mark on the underlining of his jaw.
Like a leech.
Please, Ben begs. God, yeah. Callum breathes, tilting his head to give Ben better access.
Sorry, better access?
Well, we don't know. We don't know what head or what we're getting access to. Just use your imagination.
I'm trying.
With difficulty, Ben pulls back, but only because it feels like if he doesn't get Callum into his mouth within the next very short while, he might just combust.
A combust?
Get on the bed then, Ben orders with heat.
Ooh, yeah,
Naked.
I like that. Yeah, go on.
Are you ready?
Come on.
Callum kind of wants to ask Ben if he likes what he sees in some lame attempt to diffuse the intense sexual tension just a little bit.
So Callum's trying to cool it down a little bit. I don't see, this is the thing, I don't see Callum as a very hot, sexualised guy. I see him as a kind of, almost like a military precision.
Well, they go on to say, but he's not that kind of person.
Yeah.
And Ben would probably just laugh in his face.
Oh, I don't know, I think Ben...
Did you write this?
Oh, maybe I did.
Are you Dingle Tragedy? Instead, he makes his way towards the bed, positioning himself for Ben. Doesn't say what position. Hi.
Should we guess?
Ben says.
Should we legs in the air or all fours?
I don't want to speculate.
Okay.
We have to let the story tell its story.
I'm sorry, yes.
Hi, Ben says dumbly, when he joins Callum on the bed, stroking a thumb beneath Callum's eye.
What?
That's odd.
Have to poke them out.
Hey, Callum breathes in reply, eyes fluttering down to Ben's mouth.
This is actually quite romantic in a weird way.
His hand runs down over Ben's chest before one settles right over his heart.
Oh.
Callum's thump. Oh no.
Callum's thumb's
Callum's thumb moves swiftly over Ben's, and Ben is just about to say something when Callum kisses him again. And that's enough to shut him up for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You taste so good, Ben mumbles, against Callum's lips. Do you think he tastes of Whitney's chapstick?
Yeah,
When he
watermelon.
kissed her goodbye. But he doesn't allow him any chance to return the sentiment before sneaking his tongue into Callum's mouth. Not that Callum is complaining, though. He'd never complain about Ben's tongue flicking against his own.
Never complain, never.
Hence the title of this
of course.
thing, I think.
Yes.
They kiss until they can't possibly kiss anymore.
That's it. They've expired the kissing.
Until Ben feels like if he doesn't get Callum's dick into his mouth, and soon he might just die.
I mean, we've all felt like that before. If you don't get a dick in your mouth, you're going to die.
Right, he plants one last chance kiss on Callum's mouth before kissing along his jaw and down his neck. He bites into his collarbone, licks over his nipples, but not his buds.
To ask.
Teasing Callum beyond belief.
Wow, beyond belief.
Are you ready? We've only got like a page left. So it's all going
So much has happened, though.
Ben moves down lower, still as he licks along Callum's defined V-line.
Oh.
This is a result of years of rentless army training.
I mean,
not sure about that.
I was going to say, I don't want to sound rude, but Callum's not toned particularly.
And he works in the kitchens in the army.
He likes
so
to
come
eat,
on.
yeah. He has started running recently, though.
That's true. For his V lines.
Yes.
Look out for them.
I will.
And sucks a mark onto his left hip bone. Only light enough so it will be faded by the time they get back to Wolford.
Oh, see, yes, because if he's leaving marks, Whitney's going to be like, what's that there for? And you can't,
And it also says, unfortunately.
Oh. Is that Callum or Ben thinking that? Or
I
both?
think it's the author, third person thinking it.
Oh, so it's the
Not
author
sure.
chipping in and saying...
Or maybe it's Ben. Or, yeah, it could be anyone.
Could be all three?
It's in italics, so it's like what Ben's thinking, isn't it? Something like that.
I don't know.
It's a bit of an overload. Watching the fan of Ben... It's a bit of an overload watching the fan of Ben's eyelashes flutter against his flushed cheeks.
How long are these eyelashes?
Sharon lent him her
clip-ons. Yeah, the extensions. Do you reckon they're the magnetic clip-ons that you can just pop over the top?
Fluttering against his cheeks when he bites down on his lip, feeling his unkept stubble, leaving a cool trail on Callum's skin when everything else is burning.
Mm-hmm.
Need to get that checked out. Each of Ben's actions makes Callum moan above him, and Ben can't help but feel so pleased and accomplished because he's the one who's making Callum moan.
He hasn't
Him,
really done
and
anything.
only him.
Only him.
He's bitten his lip and his nipple buds.
and his thigh.
Oh yeah,
He said a
line.
slight mark.
Recently, they've been taking their time with each other. After the urgency of the first few times, they decided their time to learning each other's bodies slowly, softly, and full of heat.
Nicely put.
This time is different though. There's a current of urgency buzzing underneath his skin. Like this can't happen fast enough. And by the time Ben wants to slow it all down, the experience is all again and again, drawn in and out to make it last forever. In the end, he just settles for taking the head of Callum's into his mouth. You see, they were so close to being romantic there.
I know, and then just ruin it with that line. Taking.
Well, this is where it's going to get hot now.
Oh,
so
I
watch
thought.
out.
I genuinely thought that was the last line of the story.
No.
And that was then at the end.
His hands come to tangle in Ben's hair, just the way he's asking for more. God, Ben, that's so good. Ben smiles against Callum's cock at the completion. And it's a little bit ridiculous, sure, but pleasing. Callum inflates his ego. So, speaking of pleasing Callum, Ben makes quick work of taking Callum deeper in his mouth. He licks over the slit, tasting the cum there, before sinking down slowly. He wraps his hands around the base of Callum's cock, covering with what his mouth can't.
Wow. Jesus, how big is it?
And Callum, well, he's seeing stars. No, not just stars, constellations.
Constellations. Do you reckon he sees the plough and the bear in the top
I
left-hand
think
side?
the plough is happening in the hotel. Up and down, breathing in and out through his nose, so he won't have to remove his mouth.
Good job.
He even dares to scrape his teeth gently along it, which results in Callum thrashing up relentlessly.
Thrashing. Do you mean thrashing?
Yes.
Okay, good.
It's very small font.
Thrashing. I'm getting thrashing.
Although it could be thrashing.
No.
Who
You're clearing your throat like what Ben is.
Luckily, it's not more than Ben can take. But he squeezes the base of Callum's cock. Does he have to keep saying that?
Well, you need to know.
He's driving Callum wild, Ben is.
Oh, just in case you didn't know, who's been sucking Callum's cock this whole time.
Taking him right to the edge, time and time again, but never over it.
Oh, that's a clever way of saying he's close to climax, but not quite.
He bucks his hips again, needing more. But Ben plants a hand either side of his hips,
Oh.
effectively holding him down. Ben wants to complain, protest, but there's no need, because the next thing he knows, Ben relaxes his throat and skins all the way down on Callum's cock. He doesn't stop until his nose is touching Callum's belly,
My God.
tickling the hairs down there.
Tickling the hairs, what with his nose? Or was he using his fingers?
No,
going,
with his nose, with his nose.
Okay.
One of Callum's hands tightens in Ben's hair, where it's buried, and the other is resting gently on the back of his neck, not applying any pressure at all.
Oh, that's kind.
Ben, God, I can't. Callum trails off to moan. I'm so close, I can't. Whatever he means to say gets caught up in another moan. Sticks to the back of his throat, and Ben just presses his thumbs harder into Callum's hip bones. Ben swallows around Callum's cock. I'm getting bored of saying that now. It's lost its
emphasis.
Yeah. The muscles of his throat working around Callum's cock. And that seems to be the very last straw for Callum.
Straw. I think Ben's got the last straw here.
Because he only manages one last broken moan and a tug of Ben's hair that warns just enough to pull back a little before Callum comes in his mouth.
How sweet.
He pulls off Callum's dick and climbs
Pulls
up.
off Callum's
Yeah.
Off, surely.
No, off.
Oh, he just takes it off like it's magnetised. Thanks, Callum. Puts it back.
And climbs up the bed until he's hovering naked over his form.
Hovering?
He looks absolutely sinful and absolutely gorgeous beneath Ben. Near the end now, I'm sad to say. He's been neglecting his own in favour of Callum's, although Ben's sure just the briefest of touches could probably get him off right now. It was just that hot.
Bring Kathy in.
Now, though, his hangs hard and heavy between him, begging for release.
Oh dear.
Callum isn't going to leave Ben waiting. Not when he looks like he does. Mouth red and lips swollen, eyes watery. It's just so difficult to tear his eyes away from the sight of Ben with his hair all tousled and his lips thoroughly used. For now, though, Callum settles for bending down and kissing those lips. The end.
Oh, but so did Ben get anything for thanking him?
Just have to wait and see.
Also, notably, Ben didn't say anything after the completion of his gobby, let's just call it. so mate, did he swallow? Was he keeping it in his mouth, ready to spit it out later?
God knows.
He did kiss Callum. Was there a transfer?
There is part 2 coming soon. Literally.
We're all coming soon after listening to that.
So there you go. That was Dingle Tragedy's version of events.
Well, thank you, Dingle Tragedy. Hey, all right. I enjoyed it. Did you listeners enjoy that? The
ratings have just went bloop.
I know, we're going to get so many complaints. Does anyone have any fan fiction they'd like us to read out on the show? Please do share it. We will read it out. We're going to make this a kind of feature that we do every now and then.
Until we get taken off air and arrested.
Yes. Details fine, but just be aware that we may have to take away some words or bleep them. So please
put your own words in there instead.
Yeah. So do get in touch with us if you have any fan fiction. Probably the best way, because it's going to be quite long, is to send us an email. EastEndersWeekly@gmail.com.
Right, so next up we've got a new storyline that developed.
Yes.
We half saw coming.
But we got the wrong end of the stick.
We did.
We admit, we put our hands up. And it was one I was really worried about if they were to do with Bobby.
So we thought dark storyline could go wrong.
Yes, I thought it was dark, and I just thought it was almost...
So easy to mess up.
So easy to mess up.
Still is, kind of.
And and it was so quick to be criticised because it's linked to a religion where people could easily just jump the gun and just think, oh, well, that's not surprising.
I've already seen people comment. They've not even read what the storyline's going to be about, and they're already commenting saying ridiculous things. So people already are jumping to conclusions without even knowing.
Well, without having even read, I'm sure, the book that it's related to or the religion, knowing anything about the religion. They just, they know what they've been told by mainstream media. You should know about it. So
we saw the beginning of the storyline this week where Bobby meets his friend from prison, and he sort of says to his friend that he's finding it hard to study with his family around. He can't really tell them what he's up to. So they make it a bit suspicious.
They do.
By giving him a wrapped up present that said, don't open it to your home. So it's like, they're kind of like prodding the nest there, like making people jump to conclusions. But they released an article afterwards, which I guess they have to nowadays. They always do that, don't they? Like, to say we're now working with this charity because it's this issue. Again,
this is sometimes, which is the curse of a soap nowadays, the fact that they have to explain what they're doing and why they're doing it. So it really doesn't give the audience time to kind of nurture and through nurture learn the story and pick up the indicators without it being forced down your throat, which is a shame.
The Ruby story, like even before she was on screen,
we knew exactly. Before she even came onto the soap,
but at least he's not being like radicalized, like a lot of people thought, us included.
No, exactly, and there was all kinds of crazy speculation out there that there was going to be terrorism and bombing linked to it, and it's like, oh no. And it's nice that they're actually saying no, but they're actually showing that a religion is a welcoming thing. So some people, a religion is a comfort. I mean, look at Dot Cotton, for instance. For Dot Cotton, Christianity has really been her comfort her whole life.
The past 30 years.
It really has got her through her turbulent life big time. And it's something that perhaps I'm an atheist. I put my I don't particularly follow any religion, and I don't particularly want to either, but I know people who do, and I understand
if it helps.
If it helps you and it sets your mind at rest and it gives you that that community as well. There's that community and that spirit, and
that's obviously what Bobby's craving,
and that's what Bobby needs. Bobby doesn't feel like he's part of anything, and with this he does, but not in an extremist manner, in a comforting manner, in an embraced manner.
Yeah, and they say the storyline they're working on that it's going to help Bobby find peace with himself and come to terms with what he did. Because, you know, he spent a year not even knowing that he killed his sister. So it's nice. It's a nice positive storyline, which is good because we don't really need another psychopathic, horrible villain teenager on the square.
No, which is what we didn't want either.
No.
When they brought Bobby back, we just wanted Bobby to kind of reintroduce himself slowly into the story. So it's nice that they've done that.
Yeah, I mean, can I say,
yes.
if you go back to our If We Were Executive Producer episode...
Oh, yes, check it out on your favourite podcast apps.
One of my suggested storylines was kind of similar to this, but it involved Kathy Bill instead of Bobby Bill.
I know where you're heading with this, I remember.
Because it was when she was dating Masood, and Masood was she was gonna convert to being a Muslim. So I wasn't too far off. I was in the Bill house.
Maybe Senna Notes had a little ear tickle when they heard you say
Copy
that.
my homework, but change it a bit.
yeah.
Kathy Bill, Bobby Bill.
Yeah, scrub out Kathy and do Bobby, yeah.
So I was quite shocked when I saw it. I was like, I predicted this. Ish. But I'm going to take it as a prediction.
I mean, do you think that Ian and Kathy will embrace... I think Kathy, again, we saw this week, Kathy's quite open-minded.
She might even mention how she dated Masood, or maybe even ask Masood for help on the phone, off screen.
Oh yeah, good idea, to learn more about it herself.
But I'm almost positive that Ian won't.
No, Ian will not like it in one small part.
I don't think many people on the square. I think a lot of people will probably jump to conclusions on the square.
I mean, Arshad and Miriam would be interesting as well to be involved.
Or Habiba and Ikra.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yes, that gives them a reason also to kind of be part of because they work for Ian as well. So they might be the comforter. They might be the one that brings Ian down a few notches and explains to Ian that, you know, you're crazy and, you know, cool yourself, man.
So it's a shame that I don't believe I'm saying this, but it's a shame Masood's gone because this could have been a potential thing for him to father Bobby, kind of.
Yeah, he could have been really supportive to Bobby.
And there's Kush as well. Kush does occasionally Ramadan. So
that's true, because he talked about it this year, was it? When he said that he couldn't eat and it's not very good for his muscles.
No, that was this time last year. It was like 2 years ago, like 2015.
It all merges into one.
Martin was in a vest.
Oh, that's when Martin's had the muscles too. He's piled on. He's eating a bit too much. He's had more than his 5 a day, let's just say.
Don't fat shame Martin.
I'm not. I know you love him.
I love everyone.
Yeah, but you love Martin. Like when again, we'll talk about it later, but when a certain scene happened, you went missing from the room for minutes. No.
But we've had quite a few comments. We're going to do some comments now, because why not? We've got them. We'll read them out about the Bobby storyline. So we have on our Facebook group, someone said, "This sounds really cool, especially considering there's an established Muslim family he can turn to if needs be." So,
yes, absolutely. On Twitter, at EastEndersFanAU said, "Fantastic, bravo EastEnders to add to the Callum and Ben storyline. We now have a very powerful storyline with Bobby. As I've already said, bravo EastEnders."
And we had Leslie King says, "The storyline sounds fresh and interesting, but I think the new actor is rubbish. Sorry, they should have brought back Elliot."
I did like Elliot, I must admit.
I really like this Bobby. I think he's a really good actor.
I've got no problem with him at all. And
he does shy and unconfident and uneasy really well on screen, like an awkward teenage boy. Like
you can see that he wants to get away all the time. Like every time he's stopped by predominantly Kathy. I mean, this is another thing that's kind of annoying me a little bit, because the whole story was that Ian has decided that, you know, family comes first, and that he's going to focus his attentions on Bobby. He's going to find that private tutor so he's able to do a bit of homeschooling. And yet all week Bobby's just interacted with Kathy and just left Ian.
Ian's now suddenly interested in Baby Abby.
Yeah,
just because she's gone missing.
His sudden spark of interest is onto Baby Abby, and that's all he cares about.
So speaking of Baby Abby going missing, should we talk about the Branning brothers?
Yeah, the Super Branning bros.
One's knocked out for the count. Got a bag of peas on his head.
Yeah.
It's always a bag of peas, isn't it?
I mean, everyone's got a bag of peas in their freezer, surely. We've got a bag of peas in our freezer. Or it is mixed veg, I should say.
Yeah, it's not peas.
It's got peas in it.
But Abby's still missing. Ian obviously suddenly taking an interest because she's now missing, and Max doesn't want him to know. Max, again, I mean, this storyline is just annoying because Ian's being annoying. Max is just horrible. Like, he's just so short-tempered over everything, isn't he?
He just doesn't have any patience for anyone. And the world around him have patience for him. That's what really annoys me. Everyone's kind of given Max a break, even though he was the one who basically ruined the square in one fell swoop. and ruined his own life.
Ruined
really.
the show nearly.
And almost ruined the show.
Still recovering
and,
now.
Yeah, everyone seems to have given him a good berth of him to get back onto his feet, and they all understand. And, there's a few people who know that Rainie and him were a bit of a sham, but understood that he had to do it in order to get baby.
So bizarre.
Abby.
Like this whole Rainie thing still doesn't make sense. Like the sham wedding, but he's happy to like kiss Mel in front of everyone, but then he gets angry if Rainie would do that. And it's just like he ran off with baby Abby for 6 months to France.
Yeah, without telling Rainie.
Yeah, Rainie does it for a week, and now it's like
the world's collapsed around him.
It's really hard to feel anything for Max.
Yeah, empathy for Max is tough, and it's just gets more tough the fact that he just shouts at people now. Anyone who's trying to help him.
Yeah, and he also said when she gets ill, chuck her out my house. It's like you're living with Jack.
Yeah,
you can't afford a house.
Exactly, and also like some of the things he was saying about Rainie, like calling her slag and something. I was like, well, you chose her in order to fulfill your plan. It was your choice to bring her back into the house.
And the plan, like, that's the problem. The plan kind of didn't end, but didn't even finish. Like, it's just in this weird limbo of like they're married, but not in a sham. But I don't know. It's a really weird place. They need to just cut it. Ties now.
I
it's
agree.
Stupid. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it just feels so nowhere, doesn't it?
No,
it just feels like, and it does feel like they're just kind of tacking on things now. It's like they don't really know how to finish it, so they're just adding something else and adding something else. And this new adding on to the story is that Rainie's run away with Jack's money, and in the hotel room she can't get baby Abby to sleep because baby Abby wants her catty.
So like, stupid. Have we heard about Catty before this? Baby Abby's been on Square for a year. Have we seen Catty before?
I mean, sure. I think Catty is prime for a game. Where's Catty?
No.
Yeah.
What, replacing Halfway's hat?
Well, Halfway's hat now is in heaven or hell.
Yeah.
So he's now telling us about, people he wants to be around.
What about where's Big Mo's bra?
Or where's Mo hid the money? She needs the money.
The £50 note.
I mean, if you guys think that Where's Catty would be a really fun game to play.
Or where's Big Mo's bra?
Yep, get in touch. Version. Get in touch. Give us some refined rules and we'll very much consider playing it.
E20 toilet.
What about it? That's where Big Mo's bra is. Well, you've ruined the game. You can't give us the answer before you give the question.
Many other places.
But Catty is missing. Not missing. She forgot when she was in a mad flail to get all the money and Abby and all that.
Yeah.
She forgot Catty.
Yeah, so she arranges to meet them in Joanne's cafe. Ian and Max, but not Jack. For some reason.
Ian's, as you said earlier, has taken a huge interest in all of a sudden over Abby. Like he really wants to look after Abby. Every day he's like, "Can I look after Abby now,
After
please?"
A year
Max?
of ignoring her.
Yeah.
So she's done a clever plan where she's arranged for Stuart to go in her place, so the house is empty, so she can go in the house, get Catty, and get out. Probably could do this in about 2 minutes.
Yep.
But she decides to put baby Abby in the playpen for some reason.
And also, why is there a playpen there? Is it for Max? Is it for Max to have a timeout?
For baby Abby.
Wait, but in case she crawls back into the house. I mean, again, surely the plan was failed from the beginning when she didn't tell Jack to meet them as well at the cafe. So Jack was going to probably walk in at some point.
It did make me laugh how Jack had her in a an arm wrestle.
On
behind
the sofa.
Her back.
Yeah, when he caught her.
Police training. That was.
You'll never forget it. But he didn't have his ninja skills when she smacked him around the head with a laptop.
That's because she pretended to be sorry and flutter her eyelashes, and obviously his brain's downstairs still.
She did say sorry to Jack though. She did, and she made it
only to smack him around the head.
No. She smacks him around the head and then said, "I'm really sorry, Jack." So I don't think she's got no beef with Jack. She's only got a beef with Max and apparently Ian. I don't know what Ian's done to her to really upset her.
Although there was that thing with Cora when Cora teamed up with Ian, wasn't there? And then Cora hit her with a frying pan.
Yes. The famous
amazing
frying
episode.
pan.
But yeah, he got hit on the head with a laptop.
Fell to the ground.
So that's the one that Mel used to use to do her snooping on.
Yeah. I mean, Jack's going to need a brand new laptop.
And a new password.
Yes. Oh, yeah. We can't use Ronnie. Just move the number up one. No one will know.
No. And so yeah, she's got away again basically, and Jack is saying sorry. Max is obviously upset with Jack. It's all Jack's fault.
Yeah, because Jack obviously should have stopped that laptop swinging toward his head. I mean, again, Max, just sort yourself out. I mean,
I've nothing else to say about Max. He's just.
I mean, the only person he kind of gave the time of day to was Stuart, because obviously Stuart met Max and Ian at Joe's cafe, and Stuart said to them, just give her some room. Eventually, she'll probably come back. Just give her some time and space. And yeah,
No,
again,
I'll shout.
yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm never going to do that. But it still insists he won't phone the police. What can the police do? Well, they could follow the phone call, find out where
the
she's
hotel,
phoning from.
maybe.
Yeah, call hotels in the local, because you couldn't have been that far away either. I mean, if she got back to the house literally the next day, she couldn't have been that far for her to just, pop in and pop out again. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, the storylines with Max do get worse. Slight spoiler here, so skip ahead like 2 minutes. Cool. So, yeah, they've revealed that Ruby's new love interest, man beginning with letter M, thankfully isn't Martin, which we did fear for, but it's Max. Max and Ruby.
I mean...
why? What do they have in common?
I mean, it's probably going to be linked somehow that Max wants her money. It will be, won't it? It's just Max is...
What do you think?
Max has two...
Well, Mel should get onto Ruby's case then and take her money.
Well, no, because Mel won't be around for that, probably, when Max is dating Rainie.
Double spoilers.
Well, people have fast-forwarded if they don't want to know.
So yes, Mel's leaving as well. So Jack and Denise, I'm assuming, are going to stay together. There's not going to be a Jack and a Mel thing.
No.
So it's all changed in the Branning house, but Max is still around.
Talking of Jack, actually, he and Denise, he and her had a bit of conversation, and Jack revealed that even by selling the apartments, it's not going to be enough money for what Jack needs.
I don't know why.
I know. I mean, Adam offered him for that apartment. But is it an apartment? It's a
basement flat.
It's a basement flat. Like the bedsit is.
But there is a garden. He said
okay.
To Honey, didn't he?
Well, £395,000.
And all he's missing is 75,000.
Yeah, exactly. So what else
Japanese
does he need?
knotweed.
Yeah.
He needs to get rid of Japanese knotweed in the schoolhouse. But the schoolhouse must cost like way more.
But is that why he's not got enough money? Because he just wants to buy another property?
I don't know.
Surely 395,000 should suit him quite. That should tide him over for a bit.
Yeah, until his contract runs out and he can leave.
Also,
he can go to Ogna, wherever he's going to go with Ronnie.
Ogna?
Was it Ogna they were going to go to? Him and Ronnie were moving somewhere. It was something like Ogna.
It wasn't Bogner.
It was something like
was
that.
Was
it? Cogna? No. Kettering was where Sonia went.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was Ogna. They were moving to Ogna. Do you not remember? After the wedding.
Stop saying Ogna.
I
don't remember.
Bogner. No, it's Ogna.
It wouldn't be Bogner, because Bogner's like associated with... Sorry to anyone who lives in Bogner, but Bogner's kind of like associated with the elderly. There is no place called Ogna.
It was something like that. Someone will message us and let us know.
Let us know. To send us a tweet and say, where was Ronnie and Jack going?
It's so along the lines of Ogna.
I do remember now that
it was a weird name.
They were going to leave the square. Yeah.
So he should just go over there and leave.
Just go. I mean, like I say, he's got the money now. The big question for me is, obviously, Adam wants to buy the basement flat.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby wants to buy the bedsit, the middle bedsit.
Millionaire, she wants to buy a one-bedroom bedsit.
Yeah, why not? Worth it, portfolio.
With Max.
But what about the elderly lady who lives on the top floor?
Oh, yeah, the baseball bat woman.
Yeah. Who's
maybe
concerned
Jack doesn't
about...
own that bit.
He owns the whole building.
Oh.
He's just going to turf her out. And she's the one who needs him most.
Oh.
So instead of
Ethel, then.
So instead of Jack worrying about his woes, what about that poor old woman upstairs who basically is the security of the
She can
housing?
move in with Ted. They can date.
That would be a nice story. It'd be good to give
Crazy
Ted
bat
something.
lady.
Yeah. She'll be like fighting off all the robbers who are trying to upset Ted when he's walking down the square one day. Yeah, she'd look after him.
Right, so that's enough about them. We're going to pop over and play a little game.
Time for a game, and this week we're going to play a game that went down quite well, I feel, and you enjoy playing it.
Oh, teasing me, what is it?
It's I like to tease, Ben. It's the game Core. It stinks in here.
Oh, yes.
Yes, when I give you quotes of characters' first lines when they first appeared on the show, and you have to match up the character to the quote. So this week, to make it a little easier for Ben, I've printed off all the quotes on a piece of paper.
Talking to me like I'm special.
You are. You are. You remedial schooled.
Right.
So if you wouldn't mind...
This is paper next to me, I'm assuming.
If you wouldn't mind turning that over for me.
Right. I won't look at it yet. I've just turned it over.
I was hoping for a spectacular papery sound.
No.
Not one there.
I'm keeping the podcast clean.
So I'm going to read out the quotes, and then I'm going to read out the 7 characters.
Right.
And then you can have a go at matching them up, okay? So the quotes this week are, is it all ours? Man up, you've only had 3. Terrible colour on you. What do you want? Now you'd better not want anything complicated. Bronson. Right, everybody out. And I'm going to get some breakfast. Do you want some? And they are all quotes from either Bernadette Taylor, Keegan Baker, Karen Taylor, Keanu Taylor, Candice Taylor, Chantelle Atkins, or Mitch Baker. That's right, kids. It's a Taylor and Baker special.
God.
So,
I should be able to do this because I recently watched the Taylor's first episode because I was getting clips of all of Lorraine Stanley's roles on EastEnders together.
Yes, you were, yes. That's a video that's up on Twitter now, isn't it?
Yeah, somewhere on there. Somewhere in Twitter it's there. So yeah, we'll see how much I can remember.
Well, let me go through them with you. So let's start off with the first one. So, is it all ours? Who do you think said that quote? There's going to be a lot of editing with pauses here.
Is it all ours?
Don't forget, you at the end you can swap them around.
No. I don't want to start with that one though. I'm going to say Bernadette.
You're saying Bernie?
Yes.
All right, Bernie is the first one. Okay, next one. Man up. You've only had 3.
Oh, it's tough because Keegan was introduced before them, so it's very difficult. Man up, you've only had 3. Mitch?
You're saying Mitch for that one?
Or Keegan. Yeah, Mitch.
We're going with Mitch. Okay. Terrible colour on you. What do you want?
That's Candice.
Yeah.
That's at the door with Candice.
Okay. Now, you'd better not want anything complicated. Who said that?
Chantelle?
Yeah, you're going with Chantelle.
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Bronson!
That was Keanu when he came out of the van and Bronson ran out of the van, the moving van.
Right, okay. Next one. Write everybody out.
Write everybody out. Who have I got left?
You've
Karen.
got Keegan and Karen left.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, Karen, yep. Because she says get everyone out of the van.
Yeah, so that means that you've left Keegan with, I'm going to get some breakfast, you want some. You can...
Swap one. Which one have I given Mitch?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to help, and I'm going to say you've got 5 out of 7. So you need to do a swap for 2.
Yeah.
So you've
2?
got... Well, as in you've got to... Well,
all right, swap one, yeah.
Swap one.
What have
set.
I given Mitch?
Mitch, you gave Man Up, you've only had 3. And you've given... Well,
and then Keegan.
Keegan, you've given, I'm going to get some breakfast, you want some.
I'll swap Mitch and Keegan over then.
Yeah? Is that your final answer?
Yep.
And with that swap then, you've achieved a perfect score. I shouldn't have doubted you at the beginning of this game when I said, I printed out some paper.
Yeah.
Well done, you got a perfect score.
Thanks.
So there you go. So just to quickly go over them, Bernadette, Karen, and Keanu were all introduced on the 15th of June 2017. As you quite rightly said, Keegan was introduced before them on the 9th of January 2017. That technically actually wasn't his first line. There was a bit where he's playing basketball with Shaquille, and he says something so unaudible, I just couldn't be bothered. And so I went to his second next line, which was, Man up, you've only had 3. And then
3 what though? That's what I want to know.
It was 3 tequilas.
Oh.
They were having a house party at Shaquille's house, and his mum was going to be mad if she found out, let me tell you.
Karen. Oh no, come out.
Come out.
Oh, I thought you meant Karen was going to be mad.
No, Shaquille's house. Then Candice was introduced on the 28th of December 2017, and of course Mitch was introduced at the 12th of March 2018, and Chantelle was introduced on the 26th of March 2019. And that was also at the door because she was doing a trial for Kim and Denise for the hairdressing.
Oh, yeah, of course. I was trying to remember how she was introduced.
And her full line is, now you better not want anything complicated. I have bookings coming out where the sun don't shine.
That's it.
There you go.
Makes sense.
Well done, Ben. 7 out of 7.
Thanks. That's why I'm the BBC EastEnders expert.
Absolutely. Let us know how you guys got on. Don't forget to tweet us and let us know. And that was a game of Core It Stinks in Here.
Right, so now we're on to the prize-winning section.
Everyone who gets a medal gets a burger and a pint for £7.
That's right. And I'm not eating.
Oh, wow.
Gone off my food.
Well, can I have your burger then?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm only drinking gin and tonics.
Oh, can I have your pint then?
I'm just, well...
I know Ben is
I'm very
just
upset.
Physically distraught by this whole... So when Ben learnt the news, he was quite upset.
Morning. I had so many high hopes for Gray.
Yes. But unfortunately they've been dashed. They've been taken.
Well, yeah. There's a now... I hate that thing, but he's got that thing where there's now a time frame on his head.
Well, that's it. He's a character that basically has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you know that it's this one story. There's nothing more to him. But don't forget, we thought the same about Stuart, and Stuart's still hanging on by the fingernails.
No coming back from this. I mean, really good scenes. when they got into that house. We finally saw the inside of the house, which I was looking forward to.
Yes, well, that's a good positive of the story. You got to see number 1 Albert Square.
I've been asking for months. I want to see Chantelle and Gray alone in the house. Why won't you show me? Now I wish I never asked.
No.
I'd rather not see.
Their layout, and I'm sure Kim would be very upset about this, was the complete opposite of what Kim had. So the sofa was on the right, and the dining table was on the left.
There's no yellow.
It was very grey, which was ironic, really, considering...
The front door's grey as well.
Yeah. Gray likes to make his stamp on things, as we now know. Just remember I'm Gray.
Yes, poor Gray. I mean, we had like the beginnings of a layered, successful male man who has a bad past. He's not very confident around men. So I was really hoping for like not a domestic abuse. The one thing I didn't want, and we got it.
But there were so many hints there. We were talking about it pretty much the week he was introduced, and every time you kept saying, "No, I don't want to."
I don't want to predict things like that.
But first week. In a funny way, I liked that there was clues there. There were always clues there, and so when it came to the build-up where Chantelle was, walking into they were holding hands as well. He made her hold his hand.
Yeah, and he got her keys out the door to hurry up to get inside behind closed doors.
Yeah, so no one else could see it. And so the build-up to that point when they left the pub without anyone knowing as well. Chantelle was just told, no, let's just go.
She knew what was happening coming up, and so did we.
Yeah, and and because we knew this is what was going on, this was about to happen.
You could tell.
It made it more tense, and so something that normally you see the abuse over time was done much cleverly, I think, because you didn't see the abuse, you just knew there was tones that it could be there.
Yeah, and it was coming.
And it was coming.
That walk to the house. And, you were there, weren't you? And you were like, no, my Gray.
No. But, Gray, no, please, no, Gray.
Yeah, it was losing to Mitch, which was like the final push this time, I guess. I don't know how often it is between them. It seems like it's happened before.
No, it's because she laughed at him.
Yeah.
He said, I've told you before, you don't laugh at me. And because she found that Mitch had used the van to cheat in the race. Funny.
Oh, bloody van.
Yeah, I know. And then that van gets in so much trouble. With the one that kidnapped Keanu, the one that had...
Bailey being in school in there.
That's it. Doing homeschooling in the van.
Where is Bailey? I haven't seen her in
Bailey
weeks.
was there. Bailey was there at the pub during the 10K. Yeah, she was cheering her dad on.
Oh, okay,
Cam was looking after her.
I was distracted by something.
Yeah, the Grey. Yeah, so she laughed at him, and it was just instant, wasn't it? You could just see the
He felt like he was getting picked on, didn't he?
Well,
I'm trying to stand up for him.
No, you can't stand up for
him.
No, because it was very irrational the way what had happened.
Yeah.
He was angry because he lost the race, but then he didn't even come second.
No,
Pex
he got
came
beaten
second
by a girl.
Yeah, which also then escalated it. I mean,
apparently he hates Karen as well. I thought he just hated Mick.
No, he said he hates all her family.
Yeah,
he said he's trying to
grate on his teeth,
which is again that. We knew that we saw signs that he was isolating Chantelle from his family. When they first saw Chantelle see her family again, Gray didn't like it.
I wonder what made him agree to moving back to the square then.
Because it's the kind of I don't know, the psychologicalness of it, isn't it? And again, we've discussed this. The psychological
hiding in plain sight, I guess.
Exactly.
Right next to his family. Nothing's going on.
So so it almost makes the family trust him even further. So he's already putting on the charm in front of them. And now...
You know what else really has annoyed me? It's the fact that it means that Mitch was like right about Gray.
I was going to say that as well. I'm so fuming. That's the thing that's really wound me up, because I actually like this story, but I hate that Mitch was right. Yeah. I'm so angry.
Even when he cheated at thing, I was like, oh, he was making me angry. Not as angry as Gray.
No.
As angry as Sonia.
But Sonia was very comforting this week, because Sonia told Bex not to push herself during the race.
Yeah, if you don't win Bex, it's okay.
Don't push yourself, Bex. It's okay. I mean, that's obviously an undertone now, that every time Bex is doing something, it's just slightly exerting her.
Why was Kush not running? He should have been in the race.
He was busy on the market, but it was really weird because you didn't see the market or the race at the same in the same shot. So you'd think all the market sellers would come along and be at the race starting line.
They ran past Joanne's cafe alleyway thing.
Yeah, the Joanne's Cab's had a lot of use this week, hasn't it? Yeah, down the pedestrian crossing. That's when Mitch first showed that he was, falling behind and straining. And the next minute he cuts in front of Gray and he wins the race.
My new favourite character is Chantelle now.
Oh yeah, Chantelle. But I've loved Chantelle for a long time.
Same.
Again,
but
she's so...
Gray always overshadowed her.
Yeah, but for different reasons. Throughout the week, Chantelle showed so much selflessness. She gave Whitney advice. She gave Honey advice as well this week.
Free wig cut. Jean.
for Jean. So she can see...
Give.
It was give. And again, it was obviously a clever ploy by the writers to be like, this woman does not deserve what she's about to get on Friday's episode. I mean, what he did was... it wasn't just a slap.
No, he punched her in the stomach.
It's a full punch in the stomach.
Grabbed her by the hair.
Yeah. I mean,
he was still, even afterwards, he was still horrible to her. Like, normally because recently we saw Carmel and Matthew on 1988.
Yes.
This is way back. But, like, after he'd beat Carmel, he'd be really, like, apologetic and, like, really nice and a good boyfriend for, like, a bit. But Gray wasn't. He wasn't, like, being apologetic. He was still...
He was blaming her full on, yeah.
Don't play the victim.
Yeah, that's right. He said, you never laugh at me and stop acting like you're the victim. And it's really...
That surprised me, because normally when they do, like when Trevor would used to hit Little Moore.
Yes.
He used to be, like, really nice for, like, a few days or a week.
Well, he'd beg for forgiveness, wouldn't he? He'd apologise.
Yeah, Gray didn't. He thought he was...
He was adamant that he was in the right of what he did. You know, he was punishing her for something she had done.
And you mentioned his mum again as well. So that's obviously, like, a big
Wait,
thing.
he said she was dead, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he said that before, that she died.
But what circumstances, you see? So we don't... Again, was it under abuse? Was it under...
What, you think he abused his mum? I said when he said.
Oh, no! I don't think he abused his mum.
The wife.
I think
his dad.
His mum was abused by his dad, so he's following.
Because he doesn't have a relationship with his dad, does he?
No.
Another one.
But again, so he blames his dad for the reason his mum maybe's died, but he's then carrying on.
It's the circle of life.
It is.
It's like Stuart and.
But then that's
Jono.
it. But Whitney asks Chantelle questions about. And so again, it's almost like the writers are kind of just giving you a bit of a wink and saying, yeah, this is going to be similar.
Was it Honey that said, "Have you ever had an argument?" Or was that Whitney? And Chantelle says, "Oh, we have normal arguments, but that any normal couple would." I can't remember if it was Honey or Whitney.
I think it was Whitney. I think Honey was asking her whether you can forgive someone if anything's unforgivable, and Chantelle said there are some things that are unforgivable. So I don't know, it's just. But I loved. We've got a wonderful reaction shot video from one of our listeners on Twitter, and we strongly recommend you find it. It's on our Twitter stream. It's from London Dan, I think.
Yes, that's right. But he sent us a live reaction, and we've also got an email. Loads of live reaction. We've got a live reaction email just sent through. Yeah,
literally. We're live. We are. The moment the episode had finished airing, someone sent us an email.
So it's Ryan Denya, and he says, "Hi, I'm literally writing a second since the Chantelle and Grace scene. And I'm just in utter shock. It's crazy how a character can just change personality within a few scenes, and yet it still feels so natural. EastEnders has always been great at covering domestic abuse, and I sense this is going to be no different. Genuinely, the first time in ages I've actually gasped at EastEnders. He's still fit though." Oh, and thanks for the brilliant podcast. Every week I love listening. Ryan, kiss.
Oh, thank you, Ryan.
But still fit, but
you can't
gone.
Use that as a caveat, though. You can't say, well, he beats women, but, he's hot, so why not?
My last week I can do it.
Oh, yeah, well, I suppose you can't. You can never stand up for Gray again now.
I'm Team Chantelle now. I told you.
Because even to your own admission, you said that, he was cold afterwards as well. And so there's no forgivableness, nothing to forgive him for.
He's so nice when he's in the cafe, like, giving free advice to Mel, though.
Yeah, that was an interesting one, that they built him up with Mel, wasn't it? I mean, is there something else?
They're just showing him a nice guy on the front, aren't they, I guess?
Yeah,
like how he was all up for arranging charity things, I guess.
As you said, we've not been into Number 1 Albert Square, and I think that was such a clever way of just portraying that obviously this abuse has been happening for a long time. It's not something that's just started. It's been happening a long time, and we've not seen it. All we've seen is the facade from the outside. So yeah.
Pretty well done.
I know it was maybe not what you wanted, and then maybe a little obvious, but I don't know. I think I'm really looking forward to...
It looks like they're going to be doing it well. They're two decent actors.
Yeah.
They've got a good family around them, the Taylors. So it's got all the points to be like a great storyline. It's just upsetting.
I mean, if you got the BBC Action line at the end of the episode telling you to call if you've been upset, then you know that the episode's been well researched.
Chantelle's portrayal was really good, I thought, in the aftermath. The way she was acting, it was very... You really, really felt like she feels like such a realistic character, Chantelle. I've always found that with her. There's something about the actress or the way she is on the show. She just feels very realistic to me. Like someone I'd know, kind of thing.
Yeah, like your friend down the road.
The other half of this storyline is like the Mick and Linda thing, which is all going on.
There's no way to talk about Ollie.
I'm not. I'm talking about Mick and Linda and No More Secrets, Mick.
Oh yes. Still no more secrets.
No.
But I've made
Had
a
a
private
secret for a
appointment.
week.
I've got a secret. Yeah.
So yeah, he's like made private appointments, which apparently cost thousands.
Yeah,
All
so-
these people want to do private NHS all the time, don't they?
Well, yeah, I don't know if I've said it on the show before, but I've certainly said it to other people. EastEnders, the one thing that does annoy me a little bit is they so bash the NHS.
Even
like,
Sonia, who like works there, like
Yeah.
all constantly moans.
Yeah, moans about the NHS. They always have an excuse to moan about the NHS. If there's someone's in hospital, it's a nurse's fault for why something's not happening, or they're shouting at the doctor. When Abby fell off the roof, it wasn't Max's fault. Yeah, it was the doctor's fault that Abby wasn't being resuscitated.
Oh yeah, and he like locked himself.
And he locked himself in the room.
And Jack like yelled at the nurse for like giving him a bit of paper.
What's this? I'm not signing it.
But yeah, he's like booked a private thing, and he was thinking of like stealing the charity money from the 10K, which is a bit weird for Mick.
Yeah, I know that's so out of character for Mick to consider stealing, the money for it. But he saw sense in the end after Linda had a bit of a shout at him.
Yeah, she raised her voice, and that rung home for him. I think that's what he needed, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, Linda saw sense by saying that we don't need to pay for Ollie's care. We just need to show that he's loved. And at the end of the race, when Mick was finishing and crossing the start-finish line, Mick took Ollie and ran down and said, "Oh, he's my mascot. He's my mascot." And Linda was like, "Oh, my man." And it was like that's what Ollie needs. Ollie just needs the attention and the love from a happy couple, a happy family. No more lies.
No more secrets.
No more secrets.
Until next week.
Yeah, when he's probably going to find another way of raising money. Yeah, so that was pretty much for Mick and Linda. That was
Yeah, that's all you need to say. There's a football storyline coming up soon. So. And
also, one other little seed that was planted in the 10K story was Tina showed a tiny little interest in Ikra.
Oh yeah, a little flirt. She flirted
back. So I think we can pretty much stamp the fact.
Yeah, they've done it twice now.
Yeah, that Ikra is obviously gay. So Ikra's going to have the very difficult story.
Love it.
Just taste the rainbow, Ben.
Apart from Gray, apparently.
No, I know. The one character
everyone thought Ben and Gray were secretly dating.
Oh yeah, he was
good times.
What was the character? The guy who Ben was talking. Peck's guy. Yeah.
Oh, the good old days.
There's still hope.
Still Martin.
Oh, God no. We don't want Martin to convert.
So talking about my second favourite subject, Martin.
Yes.
The new romance of Mush.
Oh yes, the bromance.
Secret affair.
They're meeting in secret in the Prince Albert. Scratch his head.
Yeah, it's all it needed for them to have a little fight and testosterone pumped around, and they were friends again.
They just needed to get it out of their system.
Oh
didn't
yeah.
they? It was
that scene did annoy me though, like when Billy was taking bets and everyone was like crowding around in a circle.
I do like
really
the fact
cheesy.
that I like that Shirley was the one who came up with the idea while she stuck her nose up a shampoo bottle. So she had that bottle so far up her nose. It was just, she looked, I don't know, she looked like a mole or something.
It's weird, isn't it? But I didn't enjoy that storyline, but that's fine. Him and Martin, Kush and Martin, like became friends again, and they were secretly meeting in the Prince Albert.
Yep. Because they can't. Well, they want to be friends, but they've been told by Kat and Stacey that they can't be friends. So if they ever want to now have a few drinks with each other and just have a bit of a chill together, they have to find secret rendezvous to go to. And the first one was the Prince Albert.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't make me laugh. It kind of annoys me that every time a straight character goes into the Prince Albert, their first reaction is, "Oh, I hope I don't get pulled in here."
Because they secretly hope they will.
Yeah, I know, but it's that kind of the kind of reaction where you instantly think, well, why is it a problem if you are? It doesn't really matter. You just politely say, "I'm sorry, but I'm not gay."
Gray was okay with it.
Well, yes, a tick for Gray.
plus points for Gray. Last week,
Jean said that she thinks that she'd be a disappointment, didn't she? She said, "Oh, I'd be a disappointment." If I was gay, I'd be a disappointment. So poor Jean, she always puts herself down.
Yeah, because Big Mo was in the Prince Albert, because Big Mo had like a plan to try and get Stacey and Kat back together, because they had that big row where they were really horrible to each other for like really no reason. Yeah,
some of the things they were saying were really quite nasty too.
Really over the top, literally written just for like a Slater row.
I mean, it suited the Slaters because that's how the Slaters fight, isn't it? They fight dirty,
throwing things out windows. But Big Mo's got the plan. It's quite tactile, isn't she, with her plans that she's got? She was secretly making them meet up separately with Jean and Stacey and her and Kat, trying to pretend both of them are sorry.
Yes.
But they weren't. And then the same thing happened because she then said, "Oh, Jean's dying.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah, the cancer has hit her so hard she's now dying. But we actually found out that she's just having her ovaries removed.
But these scenes, they were obviously put in because of the horrible Gray and Chantelle scenes. They were obviously put in because they were kind of like comic reliefy.
Do you think? I don't think they were comic relief at all.
Do you not?
No, I found them really...
Well, the way Jean was like saying, oh, they thought she was talking about her being dead, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm quite happy about that, and I'm quite a burden anyway, and I quite want it. And they thought
she said it was a relief.
Yeah,
it's a relief.
So
really.
There was like quite funny things in between those dark.
I don't know if I found that funny. Not really.
Yeah, but EastEnders funny.
So let's laugh about cancer.
Well, I mean, a lot of people say you need to laugh about things to try and get over.
No, I agree. I understand. Hence, probably why they've had Edmondson become like the counteractive part of the Jean story, which I think needs to be introduced at a much quicker rate as well. I think they're really
he's kind of
slowing that down, because of the whole Stacey and Cat thing. But no, I don't feel like it was particularly funny. I feel it was just... I mean, the one part I did kind of laugh at was just that Mo was crying by herself at the end of the episode.
Go back a year, think of that house.
I know, that house. We were talking
about 18 people in it.
Yeah, we did it as a feature where we read an article in the newspaper where we counted how many people were in the house.
Where they all were, and then she was all on her own on the table.
But there was a scene of just Jean and Mo were in that house.
Madness.
I know.
How times have changed. Oh, so you didn't really...
What
did you take from it then? Anything?
I take from it that they're desperately trying to find a way to get Lacey Turner out the soap.
It's not easy when you're that embedded into the show.
Well, that's it.
It's not an easy task.
They have had a long time to kind of find a way out, and I just think
she's been pregnant, like really pregnant for ages.
Yeah, and it just seems like that they're really panicking over this. They just don't know what to do with it, and
they're going to just use the easy option and have her have a breakdown, aren't they? I bet.
Yeah, because it's all roads are leading to it, so she's not getting on. There's obviously the court case. I think they're going to go on with that court case, and I think the court case is going to drag, and then obviously we know about Ruby and Max, and it's just
piling up for. I say like a rubbish thing though. Couldn't she go and stay with Sean or something?
Yeah, that would make better sense.
Like
she was
Sean
looking
was
after Sean or something. So Sean has gone. Like he's had his help. He has actually gone for help. He's had it, and now he's asked for some support.
Just Stacey for some reason.
Yeah. Well, Jean can't go because Jean has to stay to finish her chemo.
That would have been better than just her having a episode again. Because you had that loads, but
I just worry that, like I say, this just seems like a bit of a. Oh, we need to get rid of Lacey Turner somehow, and we don't really know how to do it, and so we don't know. It could just end up that this would just be the end of another story, and then it'll be something completely different that they're going to do with Stacey.
Not so sure about that.
But I did feel sorry for her. As I said, it was quite entertaining to see Big Mo at the end crying, or trying to push out those tears.
Also, she looks a bit trim.
I know, when she was walking down that hallway toward Jean.
Yeah, not so Big Mo.
No,
so that's good.
Yeah, no, I like that's all good and well.
Slimming down for Fat Elvis.
Well, no, they're no more. They've had their fun. I suppose there was some comic relief when Mo would like make Jean pay for the bill when they all stormed out of the club.
With her little purse.
Yeah, and yeah.
There you go. That's what you took away from the episode.
Yeah.
That's what you got.
She has a little purse. Done. Yeah, hooray! So that's all the stories this week. Good week, bad week. What do you think? Good
week. Started off, I was thinking, this is a summer filler. But no, it got really good. Like the last two episodes were really good. So
I don't think it was as good as last week. I mean,
that was good.
That was an explosion of rainbows and glitter.
But no, the Gray and Chantelle thing was...
The Gray and Chantelle thing was pretty damn good, wasn't it? I mean, we're going to find out what you guys thought now of the week and find out who you thought had won it as we find out through your Twitter comments on who won the week. Yes, it's sadly the end of the show, the moment when we find out who our listeners thought had won the week on the square. But, as always, before we do, we need to find out whose birthdays had probably been forgotten by the writers of EastEnders this week.
That's right.
We normally also take a deep dive into the past, but due to a few problems, we've not been able to have a chance to do it this week.
Too busy.
Too busy, just too busy.
Too busy writing up birthday letters and cards.
And cards. We're like the Queen. We don't do it on just 100th birthday. We do it on everyone's birthday.
Because my favourite boy's birthday was missed this week.
Oh, please tell us.
The first one on my list, 7th of July, 1965. Pat Butcher squeezed out a Simon Wicks.
Did she? Goodness, with that hair, it must have been one hell of a push.
What, Pat's or Simon's?
Both. That's the one thing he inherited from Pat, was her hair.
His wavy hair. So, his birthday, not really anyone who can mention him anymore, is there? Tiff. Again, everything leads back to Tiff to mention all these dead
it's funny
characters.
how like the Butchers seem to be like the deep-rooted family now, not the Bills, not the Mitchells. It always seems to be the Butchers somehow.
Yeah. Next one. Surprised Jack didn't mention this. This girl died at 42 years of age. And she was born on the 7th of July, 1974. Ronnie Mitchell.
Oh.
Missed her birthday.
I mean, do you celebrate birthdays when someone's died?
Jack would. He'd look at a picture or something, wouldn't he? They did look at a picture of Ronnie and Roxy last week, didn't he? So.
Oh, yeah, that's it. He was being a bit thoughtful then.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
And also, Max had the monopoly on photo looking this week.
Oh, yeah,
when
Abby.
he was, yes, baby Abby. Poor baby Abby.
So, yeah, Ronnie's forgotten.
Yeah, I mean, if she was famous enough, she might have been a Google Doodle, because they seem to celebrate a lot of people who are dead birthdays. So
another Mitchell that was forgotten, Phil's brother Grant, 8th of July, 1962.
Well, that's just plain rude. You have to remember Grant.
I know.
Bless him.
So, yeah, good one.
Yeah, nice.
And also, sticking with kind of the Mitchells, Sharon seemed to forget it was her dad, Den Watts' birthday on the 11th of July, 1946. Died only aged 58.
He
was
was
a lot older, actually.
Well, when he came back.
Yeah, he died 2005, 58 years old.
He had a hard 90s. He was dead for a long time.
That's true.
Kathy, though, she had a hard death, and look at her.
Yeah.
Came back beaming.
So, yeah. Den Watts has been forgotten in history.
I'm surprised by that, because I think because the Classic EastEnders now showing, would have thought that the producers might have wanted everyone just to remember Den Watts.
Yeah.
You can't forget Den Watts, but and also Leslie Grantham died.
Yeah, recent. Last year.
Yeah,
but recently.
But yeah, recent enough to kind of almost give a nod.
And it was Denny's birthday last week. Sharon forgot that too.
But that's awful. So Sharon...
Dennis and Dennis Rickman's all forgotten.
I bet she remembers Keanu's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be looking out for that, Sharon. Oh, great. So that was birthdays this week. But who won the week, Ben? Do you want to know the options?
Yes.
Okay, so it was either Bobby phones a friend.
Interesting.
Honey, CC too much.
She did.
I'll be honest, I was so proud of myself when I came up with that one.
She also said too much.
She said too much. Adam was not happy. Rainie gets Catty. I mean, that was... And Wolford 10k.
Oh.
More happy to that than meets the eye, let's just say.
Not happy.
So, who do you think won the week? We'll start from the top and work our way down, like all good men should.
Bobby, because it was surprising.
Almost. Bobby came second with 30% of the vote. Honey, CC too much.
Oh,
I was surprised. I was very surprised. Got 33% of the vote. So not an outright win. Not like last week when there was a couple of outright winners. A bit of a mixed bag this week. In third place was Wolford 10k. I think it got a bit of a resurgence once the the Friday episode came out.
Yes.
And Rainie gets Catty.
No, I hate it now. So.
Well, yes. And Rainie gets Catty was last with 16% of the votes.
That's fine.
We had a few comments also on our social medias. Dan on our Facebook group said, Rainie for managing to knock out Jack with an Acer laptop.
That was good.
It was good.
What's the highlight?
The highlight for that comment for me, though, was the fact that Dan noticed it was an Acer laptop. Because normally they put a big piece of like gaffer tape or something over it, or stickers like flowers.
You think you'd use an Apple Mac, wouldn't you? Jack would have one of those.
I would have thought Jack would be
or
an
Amy's
Apple guy.
iPad or something.
Yeah.
With a kissing video on.
Although Amy's iPad had like that pink puffy protector, so it probably would have just wounded him, not knock him out entirely. That's another thing now that poor old Jack needs to buy a new laptop. It's that he hasn't got enough problems with money already.
He needs to get Amy's horse as well for her birthday.
Stable it up in the kitchen. Hannah on Facebook said, I wish Rainie had used that piece of technology on the other brother. Yeah, so do I.
She was on a double hit.
Absolutely.
Hit them both.
Well, he wasn't there, to be fair.
Yeah, well.
But she could have nodded at Stuart.
I want her to hit Max over the head with a picture of Abby Branning.
Oh, yeah, that would be...
Elder Abby Branning.
Or
R.I.P.
Or both. Slap it between his ears.
Of Abby's face.
One on each side, that'd be good. Yeah, that's a good idea, Hannah. Nice. At Jamie Coleman T on Twitter said it's been a boring week. Not enough Ballum and too much Max, Rainie and Pauline Fowler wannabe Stacey.
She is being very Pauline Fowler, isn't she?
She really is. She's mothering Martin and telling him how to think, just like what Pauline did to Martin when Sonia was dating him.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're seeing a
dating his mum.
Can you imagine if Stacey came in and had white hair?
Back from maternity.
Yeah. I've lost my hair colour. He does also add that Bobby's story will be very interesting, however. And I agree with that. It's really taken an interesting turn, I think.
Unexpected, but I feel hopefully positive.
Definitely. You can always get in touch with us, as always, on Twitter at EastEnders Week, on our Instagram at EastEnders Weekly Podcast. You can find our Facebook group if you search EastEnders Weekly Podcast and click to join the group, or you can email us eastenders@gmail.com. Don't forget also, if you want to rate us, you can do on iTunes, and you can also find us on all good podcast apps, including Podbean and Spotify. So that was another week.
It was.
We are having a bit of a break now.
We are. A Pat and Frank holiday.
We're having a fact. I want to recreate some scenes because we're going to Italy as well. So I want to recreate some scenes from.
I want to buy the mask that Angie had.
Yeah, that's what I want to do too.
Yeah.
But we are hoping to maybe get an episode out next week. It may not be as long, but as we said,
the sound quality might sound like we're at sea.
Or that we're just using a laptop. But either way, we will try. If not, we will release maybe a feature, just a short feature, just to tide you guys over.
Who knows?
But hope you all have a great weekend and week, and look forward to
seeing you soon.